How's it going, everybody? This is Derek Quick with Count Fortune, here to bring you the top 5 uranium stocks that have already ran over 1,000%. These are still considered penny stocks, and these stocks in the last 16 months have had great gains, but some of them are still at a very low market cap, a few $1 million, and some of them are over $1 billion now. Now, if you don't know, uranium is in a bull market, and the last week we actually hit yearly highs in uranium. And when the uranium price goes up, these stocks have massive upsides. Some of these stocks in the past had gone over 100,000% gains. I'm gonna go over exactly what those stocks are, but please hit that like and subscribe button below, and we're gonna jump right into this video. Now, by the end of this video, I'm actually going to go over what the overall market is doing. But first, let's actually talk about the uranium market really quickly. So right here, this is Spot Uranium Trust Fund. Now, in the last week, they're really the reasons why uranium price has gone up so much. And they are buying all of the uranium in the spot market. Now, it's the first time individual investors can actually buy spot uranium. So you want to keep an eye on this because they are buying a lot of uranium. They're going to continue to do this, pushing the uranium price up. And when uranium price goes up, as you can see here, the uranium stocks go up a lot. The last 16 months, the top 5 are listed here: Encore, Paladin, Global Atomic, Bannerman, and U308 Corp. Now, this is the gains that they have done in the last year and a half about, and this is a lot of gains. They're all over 1,000%. U308 Corp down here, I think they were over 3,000% recently. I think in the beginning of or the end of last year, they have been going downhill some. There are some reasons for that, but the market cap is still 3 million. Now, if you look at the market cap of Paladin here, it's over $1 billion. Global Atomic, close to $500 million. But the other two here, they're still around fairly small: Bannerman and Encore. Now, Encore didn't participate in the last uranium bull market, and neither did Global Atomic. So we're gonna jump right into this with Encore. It's the very first one. It's one of the highest on here listed. And like I was saying before, these companies didn't participate. Encore actually was Wolfpack Gold Corp, and they changed into 2014. Now, something about Encore that's really interesting, it's ran so much, and this was a tweet that I did back in September. When it really started running, people were like, why is it that, you know, they don't have the best mines? And one thing, it's not on their presentation anymore, but they actually had this. They said that they are the leading US proprietary database that they owned. And I knew this with Westwater Resources actually. They had sold their assets to them back during this time. And, you know, Westwater Resources got into graphite. Long story short, they have a big database here of a lot of uranium sources here in the US. And they think in the future, there's gonna be a lot more mining here in the US because, you know, really the United States always imports all of its U308. So I think, you know, that having a lower market cap, people really, you know, jumped into this stock. But they are a good company, in my opinion, for the long run. I do like the fact that, you know, they are very aware of not just being a uranium company, but they also see the overall long-term carbon neutral, you know, goal. They really talk about, you know, an overall perspective. They're not just, you know, pushing uranium 24/7. They really are that clean energy company. They, you know, they paint that picture. So they do have some major assets, you know, here in America, and it's not like the best uranium mines, in my opinion, here in America. As you can see here, Texas, they do have a good amount indicated uranium deposits, 12.6 million here. This is in New Mexico. But the company, this is just an overall, just an aspect of the company. They are a uranium company, but they really want to become a long-term US provider for utility companies. So, you know, having a low market cap in these mines, you know, if they get into production, this stock could see a lot bigger gains, I think. Overall, I like the fact that, you know, there's still a low market cap. Like I was saying, I like to own more of a company, but, you know, the company has good management. But honestly, right now, as uranium's going up, I can still see this going up, but it's not one that I'm buying currently. I still think when I loaded back last year, I have since sold those shares. This was back in April, I believe. So I missed out on a lot of the big run. If we see somewhat of a correction, we have seen a little bit, I might look into getting, some more shares in this company possibly. But that's it pretty much for Encore. I'll go into a little more detail on some of these other ones. Paladin, you've heard me talk about Paladin before. They are the company that went 104,000%. Now, obviously, since then we're well far from that run that we had back then, and it's just kind of crazy where this stock has gone even in the last year. But the company is pretty well managed. I do like they've really revamped everything. Main leadership and founder is now at Deep Yellow, but the company itself is very good at promoting themselves, and there are a lot of big investors that are investing again in the company now that they see that uranium has started to pick up and run a little bit. So that is one thing that I do like about the company, and they're very professional. They've got the Langer-Heinrich mine here. This is the mine that at the peak of the uranium bull market price, they just started to get into production back, at that time. And, they really never got to see itself run for the most when the uranium price was high. They just started getting production and then the uranium price went down. So they have over 53 million pounds of U308 that have been delivered. So they've got a good track record. And these utility companies know that Paladin, has been able to deliver in the past. They are located there in Africa, the Langer-Heinrich mine. And I do like that. It is going to cost a good amount to get all of these assets, and restarted, but it does have a 17-year mine life. And when uranium price goes up, it's going to go up a lot. The stock still, even though it has gone up a pretty good amount. They do have a good exploration upside. The next stock we're going to talk about is Global Atomic. I think the name's, maybe could be a meme stock because it is, it does have atomic in the name. We'll see where that goes. But, they have gone up 1,000%. And they have a pretty big, pretty big shareholder base as well, I believe. I see people posting about them all the time. And that's one thing I think these stocks have done well. They have good leadership. They get good publicity in a sense, even though uranium is still very low compared to obviously the price it used to be. But I do like that. The company does, if we're looking here real quick, they're trading about $2.22. This is $2.22. The stock itself does also mainly trade, that's the OTC version, but in Canada. So Global Atomic here, they've also got a new presentation out. It's pretty nice here. So I do like Global Atomic. They have assets there also in their African assets. And one thing about the company, they do have a good amount of uranium that's indicated here. And the grades are not as good as the grades you'd say you could get in Canada, but it still has a pretty big upside. Their net present value, it's going to be a lot more obviously when uranium rises. I think it's going to go over $100. But the company's, it has a good future in my opinion. It's not necessarily, in my top 5 that I think is undervalued right now. Obviously, these usually aren't because they're trading so high. Their market cap, is still fairly low, but they have ran so much this year. It seems like they could retrace with, somewhat of a correction in the market. But I like them. They're pretty good. I like a stock that does, have a good amount of volume and shareholders, really believe in the company. But another one we're going to talk about is Bannerman. So Bannerman has been up 1,000%. I did buy it last year, March or April, and it was at its lowest, and I'd since sold those shares. I do see a pretty good upside. You know, these two stocks, Paladin, from where they're at now compared to where they traded at before, they still have a very big upside, as you can see here, the possible versus 2007. So they have a big upside. The market cap, though, is larger than it was back in 2007. But if you know anything about them, then you'll know that they are not the company that they were back during this time. They are a total different company, and they've got good leadership. And one of the leaders, Brandon Monroe, he is their CEO. He has a lot of skin in the game, and that's what I want to show here. 17 million shares held, and he has been adding. So that is good in my opinion. They've got some big investors as well, big funds as well, still believing in them. They have retraced a little bit. I thought it was a little overvalued before Spot even started buying. But the company itself has really kind of rebranded themselves. I guess they're all, all these uranium companies are starting to, they're updating their sheets here, and they look a lot more professional than they did. They're spending more money, obviously. But I do like the fact that, they're looking to get into production. It's going to take a pretty good amount of money, obviously, to get their Encore 8 uranium project, everything going and worked out. But they've got like I said, they're very close to getting things going with uranium price going up. Like I said earlier, it's still good upside. They're in a good jurisdiction as well. 15-year mine life. They need, I think, $65 a pound. So we're still far from that, for these companies to actually start making money. But once the uranium price gets up to that and they really get the funding, everything, gets to going. Uranium stocks, if you saw Paladin last time, uranium stocks don't have to get into production for them to do these 100,000% gains that they did last time. These stocks probably won't even get near that, because so far these four stocks, the market caps are still very high, but you still have a good story. You've got a good promoter, with Brandon in this company. He's a part of, a lot of boards, nuclear boards, and he's just always out there. You see him on social media. He's really good at promoting the company. So, I might look at this company in the future, looking to invest in them. I do like the fact, like I said, that management has skin in the game. That's one of my big criteria. I believe Brandon is a lawyer too, so he does understand certain things, certain aspects. So it is kind of a lot different than, a uranium CEO like Deep Yellow with John Borshoff, where he's a geologist. But sometimes it might be good to have a different type of leader, in a company that knows different things, that's actually a lawyer. So that's pretty much it about Bannerman here. The last stock we'll be talking about is U308 Corp. Now, it mainly trades in Canada, ticker symbol here, but the US listing, it's an OTC version, but I did notice the OTC version does have a stop sign on it, meaning it could become delisted in September next month. But the thing is, I think they need to report. So I would, if you're looking to figure this out, and I might do this myself, contact them. I'm not invested in them anymore, but see about what they're doing with that listing, because they haven't reported or anything, but they are dually listed, and they do report, I believe, still on the Canadian Stock Exchange. So the company is up 1,000%. It was up over 3,000 by last year. They have a big upside because the market cap here is $3 million. Now, this company does, obviously have uranium assets, like I said, because that's what we're talking about here. But they're not only involved in uranium, but they are also involved in the clean energy sector. So vanadium, nickel, phosphate, rare earths here. So the company, this is a little outdated sheet. I think it's from back in February. They have mines down in South America. So they've got a good leadership, a lot of doctors that are on their board. They're really wanting to not only, get their company, their uranium mines going, but they're looking into vanadium, and their vanadium here, it's all about these VRBs, vanadium redox flow batteries. This is a specific battery out of China, and it's like one of the biggest in the world, and this is pretty impressive. I think this one, it's in Dalian, China, 800 megawatt, and this thing does, I think it's like 8 hours. I think it'll do. It's so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 of these equal a typical large reactor. So this could actually, I think, power a small city for, I think it's like 8 hours. It says, 100,000 typical Western homes for about 8 hours. So one of these, I think. So it's pretty impressive. So they're looking to really provide that vanadium. They've got a small amount of uranium indicated resources, 21 million pounds overall. So indicated versus inferred, so it's not guaranteed the inferred here. So estimated capital cost, it's going to be a lot of money to get a lot of these things going. But when uranium goes up, these are possible buyouts. Now, the crazy part about this company, like I said, is this company, if we go back here, they have a few million dollar market cap. And when I bought this stock last year, I actually bought these shares, UWEFF, and it was the day, like the first time I bought it, it was like 1 penny, 1 cent. I think I got under 1 million shares. And then as the days went on, I had bought more. Like I said, I had since sold out of those shares because it's still a speculative stock, but at the time we really didn't know, if uranium price was going to be a couple years away. We believed that it could get up there, but we were still looking into, if sprott and utility companies, are they going to look to, buy? Sprott was talking about this, and now they're actually putting the money where their mouth is with buying uranium. So, U308 Corp, it's it's had a split, a 1-to-20 split. So we're still, like I said, we went up to what, 30 cents here, 37 was the high, and we've since really retraced. But it's still, like I said, it's still, if you're buying the US version, you got to make sure these companies report. It's still very volatile, the markets, and like I said, this, uranium price has gone up so much here just in the last week. We've hit highs here. The green, that's the Dow. So yeah, the Dow, we're looking at possibly some issues in the stock market because I believe yesterday evening, the mortgage and mortgage forbearance, as well as like the rent forbearance, they ended that. So I think you could start to see, with the numbers of other things going up, a little bit of panic in the market. So who knows what we'll see overall, but with those things happening, I really do still think commodities like uranium could really see big gains, and we're going to start to break records with this record buying eventually with sprott. And if we can get to this blue line here, back to these prices back in 2006, 2007, when we ran uranium, we're still super far away. So that's when those stocks actually did those big gains. Now, if you see here, got my Discord here, and if you look here, we've actually had, this is a lot of uranium news I put in here. So if you don't follow John Quakes99, check him out. But I believe yesterday Sprott, it issued 1 million physical uranium trust, and $8.9 million was used to buy another 100,000 pounds. So John shows that here. Now the NAV's 9.7 million, and they hold 10.1 million cash for stacking more uranium. So they can continue to do this, which is very interesting that the company would continue buying, pretty much just whatever the ask is. So I think this is really important for the uranium sector. It's really where there really can be price discovery in the uranium market, because in the past it was such an opaque market, like I've said before, and just the few big players really controlled the market. And now that regular investors can buy spot uranium, in a sense, through the trust, they can really help rise the uranium price, I think, in the years to come. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is just, my data that I've been looking at these stocks. I'm not buying any of these stocks, necessarily right now. I'm not shorting them or anything. I just do think that it is pretty interesting to see where these 5 have gone, in the past 16 months. And, I might actually look into buying some of these. They are on my radar, especially I really like, as the uranium price rises, I really want to get into some lower cap penny stocks that are in uranium, because those have the biggest upside. As you've seen before, you own more of the company, but it is very risky still. So it's going to be on my radar. Hope you like this video. Please hit the like and subscribe button below, share it with everyone else. And if you want access to this uranium sheet, as well as my Discord, where all my info I post and keep everyone up to date, you can go check out my Patreon in the link below, or you can actually join and get everything, access to everything. Join the YouTube, and it's a new thing, a YouTube membership, and it's actually a membership to everything of mine, the channel, and you'll actually start to get a symbol by your comment, and I'll be able to reply back to your comment, and I will, as a member, I'll be able to see that on YouTube. So it's a little easier for me to reply back to you, and you get access to everything. So look forward to seeing you there. I'm very excited for the uranium market, and until next time.